here. And this actually could be a really quick take. They find one, but this is going to start the fight. Straight Shifty is going to go low, but the first person to fall is going to be the Mordekaiser. On top of that, now we've got a double kill coming through. And as it is quickly done, Carnage is 8-0-6 in this game. And now we go to game 3 between CUNE and Waldorf here tonight. So we take a quick look at the end game screen. Obviously, the Tristana being a massive issue. Dr. Mundo, you know, I'll say the Mundo, yeah, he's 8-0, but really, I guess the Mundo represents what the Zac, the Mundo, and the Nautilus all did. Soak up all the damage, and Jhin doesn't pump out enough damage to tanks. So what are your thoughts here on this end game here?
Yeah, definitely just building an sort of an anti-Jhin comp, I feel like, is what Waldorf did. And this game, it actually definitely succeeded with the introduction of, the Zac and then the Mundo, just both of those being able to tank up absurd amounts of damage. The Tristana also really good at just being able to capitalize early on any sort of pick, regardless. I feel like there's a couple of potential answers for a comp like that if that's what Waldorf is going to go again. However, I don't know how they fit into CNE's current comp setup. But long range engages like that, or any sort of movement tech in general, good anti engage champ is Poppy. You know, you throw up that anti move field, and you know that Zac will be coming in from a long range, and then he'll just stop, smack in front of you with that steadfast presence. Same with the Nautilus; it helps prevent some of that engage. The Tristana can't even jump through it, so could potentially throw a wrench in there. But you know, then you're giving up one of these other potential picks from CNE. I feel like the Jhin is great, but if Waldorf is going to be drafting a team full of tanks, I feel like something else is just a different something else needs to be in there. Maybe like a Vayne or something to really just start doing percent health and just eat through these heavy tank front lines. But we will have to wait and see. With this loss, that means we're going to game 3. So we'll see another pick and ban phase coming soon.
Absolutely. So we'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll have pick and ban as the match is all tied up. 1-1. CUNE versus Waldorf. We'll be right back.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, 'cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple 'cause it feels like a lie. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, 'cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. They've been with me for some time, and it's nice to know that they still by my side. Friends are like stars, 'cause no matter how far, when it's dark outside, they will be your light. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, 'cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for round 3 of Waldorf versus CUNE. This is the first time I've ever actually seen us go into a third game. It's possible that we have been, because I didn't start playing until a year later, but until a year after this program was built. But this is the first time I've seen us going to a third game. Waldorf not letting the Yone, Caitlyn, or Wukong through in any way, shape, or form. And CUNE not letting the Lilia, Mumu, or Sivir through. Just not budging with those.
Oh, I can feel it in my bones. We're going to have another exciting game.
Oh,
Waldorf
for sure.
grabbing that Nautilus.
And CUNE sticking with the Mordekaiser, it looks like.
They're definitely giving it a lot of thought. Okay, they do stick with the Mordecai.
and sticking with the Morgana as well.
So how does Waldorf answer? Ooh.
The Mundo? Question mark? Thinking about it. Should I sing the what is it? The Jeopardy theme song? Do.
They do commit to the Mundo, which did some work for them last game.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Able to hold its own.
I say that like I was paying attention when really I was rewriting our calendar.
Well, some people have important callings in life.
It needed to be redone, okay? Rachel has been student teaching, and so she has not been updating our board, and it has been bothering me so much. And Waldorf, again, back to the League of Legends talk. Waldorf's continuing to stick with the Annie. And CUNE going with a Jinx pick, it looks like. Slight switch up in that bot lane. With the ban coming through for Tristana. I don't blame them.
Yeah, definitely need that respect ban for that Tristana. She did a lot of work
For sure.
last game. The question is though, what are they gonna give up in return? Are they gonna ban the Galio still, or
I don't know. Waldorf sticking with their same bans. They're pretty confident with keeping those. Oh, they put the Zac. They banned the Zac.
Interesting. Okay.
And
Waldorf gonna.
Yep. Just
Go ahead.
Sticking with that Syndra.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said last game, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, trying to keep Borwood off of some of these very powerful mid lane control mages in the Victor and Syndra. So we'll see. Ooh.
Switching up the mid lane with the Azir. We've seen that a few times this season, and it has done really well for CUNE.
It's a very, very spicy pick. Very mobile. Lot of when you get into high skill levels, just really good potential all around.
Yeah, for sure. I'm questioning marking that Kai'Sa because it looks like it might have been a random pick, but you never know. They might have picked it. It just seems so quickly. Ah, there it is. It's supposed to be Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian will make a little more sense than
I
Kai'Sa for sure.
Yeah, saying that Kai'Sa go through, I was like, okay, I don't think that's supposed to be correct. But sometimes you never know. And then Waldorf rounding it off with the Sejuani in the jungle.
Yeah, based on Waldorf's picks from last game, the Lucian makes a lot more sense. They really seem to like this engaged dueling bot lane.
Yes.
So having the Lucian to really pick those fights and such, and Sejuani also makes sense. They like the long range engage, which Sejuani provides a little bit with feel, and then she's just a really tanky body to kind of fill the gap and soak up damage for the rest of the team. CUNE can round out their comp with the Vi. A lot of early potential there. Vi potential to be very bursty, pretty mobile as well. Yeah, I good comps from coming out from both teams. Waldorf still opting for that tankier group, which I think the Jinx will fare a lot better into, just being able to have the option to build that Kraken Slayer.
Have a little bit better ability to shred some of the tanks that they have on the team.
Yeah, for sure.
That only sounded smart because that's what they were talking about in there. So I knew I could say it on here and sound smart. Oh, it's doing that thing again.
It does appear to be doing that thing.
He came in and he just clicked like 2 things and was like, I fixed it. And I'm like, what the heck? I clicked that same thing. There it goes. I'm like, I clicked that same thing 20 times to fix it. And he's like, well, maybe you just did it wrong. And I'm like, how can I do it wrong if you... I don't know. If you did the same thing, how did I do it wrong?
The world will never know why computers be computers.
Sometimes they just prefer certain people, I swear. I had an issue with my previous laptop this past year. I couldn't turn it on. It would not turn on. I'd charge it for like days and it wouldn't turn on. And the second I gave my computer to my dad, it turned on. And I'm like, what the heck? Completely unfair.
Very unfair.
I was very offended by it.
Computers be playing favorites.
I know. It's so rude. Okay, bye.
Oh, okay, bye.
No, because Coach walked in and we were talking, and then he left, and he ran away.
Well, all right. He doesn't want to give you that $5.
I'm still waiting on it. I do all this work, okay, and I get nothing. I fixed the calendar. I told him if he'd restock the fridge, I'd restock the snacks. I haven't restocked the snacks yet, because I was waiting for him to restock the fridge. But he restocked the fridge, so I'll bring snacks tomorrow.
There you go. And then he'll restock your $5.
He better. I don't think he realizes also how much money I contribute to that fridge in there. I pay like $20 at a time, then don't keep track of how many drinks I take. Either way, someone owes someone money.
Sure sounds like it.
What was that, the give me signal? Also, Geico is way better than Nationwide.
Listen, Nationwide's the only son of a gun that would insure my roof, so apparently that's who I'm with right now.
Geico has a lizard. What does Nationwide have?
Nationwide has the guy that has Mayhem guy, right?
Maybe?
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
I had to think about it because I thought it was, for a second I thought it was.
If you have
State
cut
Farm,
rate
and I'm like,
insurance.
No,
Jake is from State Farm.
Farm.
All right.
The
Listen
actual
up.
league sponsor.
The actual
State Farm.
the actual League of Legends sponsor, State Farm, the State Farm analyst desk. Like, what do I get to call my desk? It's just the Tom's Dragon.
mountain,
and
the
analyst
kickstart
did-
desk.
The kickstart desk. Oh, that'd be actually pretty sweet.
The awful spelling desk.
Shut it. Get out of here. You're not casting this game. I'm casting this game.
You're just mad because I'm funnier than you are.
No, you're not.
I mean, we could always have a third caster.
No, we don't need a third caster in this. Actually, it'd be really funny if we did, but we don't need it.
Let's do it.
Bye, Kendra.
Let's do it.
We'll set it up next time,
Okay.
and I'll forget, so that way you don't get it set up. Ha ha!
Rude. My brother has his own microphone and I'm going home this weekend. Suck it. I'll bring it back.
Okay, good for you.
3 casters.
3 casters next week? Oh boy. Oh boy. What kind of chaos would that be? Have a third caster in on this? That would be chaos.
That sounds like we're asking for trouble. And speaking of trouble, have you seen the lineups for this
Make
game?
it triple. Yeah, I have seen the lineups for this. I am not 100% sure how this is all going to go down. But I do know one thing. Concordia has drafted a late game comp to kind of help out and try to take this game and win. Try to 2-1 on the series and to take the win. The Jinx is kind of that policy where it's like, let it farm, let it farm, let it farm, then let it get pentakills in the end game. Hopefully that's exactly what happens here for CUNE. On the other side, they've got the Annie, they got the Lucian this time. The Tristana was like open, and they didn't go for it in the first 3 picks. Instead, they opted for the Dr. Mundo early, which honestly only kind of caught online last game just because of some nice ganks from the Zac, other situations that I think are kind of, I guess I don't want to like cast or curse it and say like, oh, he only got fed, or I guess make excuses of, oh, he only got fed because of yada yada. He got fed and did well, but, they were picking an anti-Jin comp and it did really well. So I was a little surprised to see the Mundo popped out, because I don't think Concordia was really willing to ban it anyways. I mean, I feel like a Dr. Mundo's not impossible to shut down, especially with an Azir, Jinx, Morgana. There's other things to take care of it. So I was a little surprised when the Tristana was not picked up by Jellybean on that side when it was very open. And they could have switched it out for the Annie. The Annie did really well, but obviously, I think that there was opportunities for that Tristana to make its way back in. So I guess I'm not quite sure what to make of the first 3 picks from Waldorf. It's kind of interesting that I don't know. It's interesting to find ourselves in a game 3. It's interesting that there's enough changes across the rift from both squads to try to hone in on some things they were either missing out in the previous game or just got surprised by and there wasn't or wasn't respected, I guess. I'd say the Jin pick in the first game wasn't respected. In the second game, they obviously had a nice setup to counter it all. And in the second game, from the side of Concordia's perspective, the Tristana the Tristana was picked before the Jin, and yet they still picked the Jin. It's still kind of it's a comfort pick, let's still pick it and have a good time with it. Whereas Tristana into Jin is usually pretty Jin favored. Tristana favored, as we were talking about. Jin won it out, but then Horrorwood lost mid lane, so Joe Cool gets ahead, and then Jellybean just slowly got back the lead that he wanted. So, we're just going to have to see. I feel like there's some good opportunities from Concordia to shut down the 3 tanks on the side of Waldorf, but I also think that on the side of Waldorf, Carnage did really well last game. Went 8-0, and then, they didn't rely on their jungler to carry them like they tried in the first game. They instead kind of let everybody else win, and get ahead, and instead he played more of that support role as the Zac. So it's kind of interesting.
Right.
I guess I'll get some more of your input on what you think between the games so far.
No, I definitely agree. Last game, the Zac was more of an additional playmaking setup for all the lanes. Mundo has a decent amount of damage in his kit already, generally speaking. Annie, decent little burst potential. Tristana loves to obviously, just all in. And so having that Zac was a real strong linchpin, I think, for making that comp work. Now, this comp, I think that they have this game can still do good. Sejuani, obviously can dash in. She's got other CC abilities. Post level 6, she has her long range ult that can be good at starting off those team fights or looking for those picks in addition to, a Nautilus hook, things of that nature. That also being said, trading the heavily bursty Tristana for the not quite as bursty Lucian. Lucian still can trade very well, especially if he gets a full combo where he's able to incorporate multiple double shots. Getting the he's got precision or no, what is that? Press the attack. Able to help his trading a lot there. So I think the Lucian's still a strong pick for what they want to do, but not nearly as versatile as the Tristana, where the Tristana gets those resets on kills or upon getting the 4 shots on the explosive charge. So she's just so mobile and so easy to reposition. Just once you get ahead, you just do so much. But I really like the comp from CUNE this game. A little bit more mobile, a little bit more bruisery, generally speaking. Mobile for Horwood. Ooh, the Vi.
Yeah, the Vi getting in here as it's going to be level 3, but there is the stun. That's very important because here comes another stun in from the backside. First blood going over to Carnage. Not what you want to see. Tried to get the kind of early contest, but I think must have missed the smite on the blue buff. And instead will end up going down. First blood over to the top laner there.
I'm a little surprised somebody help please didn't. Because, I mean, it was kind of obvious, I felt, that people were collapsing. And Sejuani was so low, I was surprised that he just didn't go ahead and commit before everybody else showed up. Because at least that way you trade a kill, right?
At least you trade, you trade first blood for, not first blood, which I guess would be obviously the better of the situations. But, yeah, I would agree. A little bit of a miscue there on the side of Concordia. And, now we see just Horwood on this pick for sure. Whenever we were back there, the idea on the pick was strictly, hey, what's something you can play that when that gank comes in, you don't die to it? And essentially, it feels bad to have that sentence said. Yeah, but it definitely was like, all right, what do you play so that you can stay safe in the mid lane? You know that gank's coming through. You know it's going to happen. How do you not die to it? How do you end up winning out that fight? And the Azir helps because it helps against the tanky comp, obviously, and it has the ability to stay safe and find its way out of a fight if necessary. So kind of does a little bit of 2 things there, which is nice. You wanted to do 2 things instead of just the one of, hey, how do you just keep yourself safe and not freaking die all the time? Because that's just such a terrible sentence to have to say. Anyways.
Well, yeah, it's got a lot of additional...
Nicely done here, and can they get the kill? They do not find Jellybean. However, that is going to be a straight shifty, going straight shifting into the grave. And Concordia finds the early aggression bot lane. Kill going over to the Jinx, which feels really good right now for CUNE.
Definitely where CUNE want to be, and hopefully Waldorf are prepared for that. Otherwise, they might as well buy that Nautilus timeshare because he's going to be spending a lot of time in that Morgana pool, being rooted up with all that CC. But it's good to see the Azir from Horwood. Obviously, it's got the defensive capabilities, and it's a safer gank or anti-gank champion. But it's got a lot of strong playmaking in the toolkit, being able to move those soldiers around and get some good crossfire damage. But then also just the potential to go in and block off a path with the wall or prevent the enemy team from disengaging with the Azir wall. Just a lot of playmaking. In addition to being a safer power move. So I'm definitely excited to see that. It'll make the fight with the Annie a little bit easier. I feel like, because now against the Jace, it's like Jace does eventually have damage, but again, Jace I feel like also is really good into lower health teams. When you get a bunch of tanks, like he can slowly chew them down, but it just takes more time, obviously, because a lot of health. And the Mundo was doing good. Mundo had a couple of items and a couple stacks on his heart steel, so just had a lot of health to burn through. It's just hard for champs like that. But an Azir with a couple of soldiers, getting that good attack speed, can probably do at least a little bit better work. Ooh.
Oh, and this is just going to be an unfortunate situation for somebody help, please. He'll die instantaneously there. Horwood not going to be able to live either, as Jellybean is going to get that kill. And unfortunately, Concordia finds a bad situation there. Somebody help, please, did not have the level 6 that was over firmly on the side of the Waldorf, and Straight Shifty gets the kill there. Jellybean. There is no mobility on that Jinx, and if you step up too far, I don't exactly know what he was expecting out of that other than death. Especially
it's not hard
got
for
everything on that.
Yeah, it's not hard for that Nautilus to walk around that wave like that. So just a little bit, I guess a little bit greedy. I didn't quite see what he was up that far for. Aside from
he was up that far because of the rest of the fight that was kind of trying to go down at the Dragon Pit. Unfortunately lost, by Concordia, but they were trying to get in there. He was trying to come up from the bot side, but honestly, I don't know why. It was just a late turn in. It was kind of like, hey, they're doing Drake, we should show up, and then Drake was taken, and in goes by. So it was like, all right, now what? You just, you don't want to really waste time like that. We're gonna have Carnage trying to start up a fight with the Bug, and the Bug for now will stay pretty healthy through that, but once again, El Gringazo, as long as he's not kind of feeding all the way into this Lucian, he'll be a little bit happier about just trying to farm up, but still is going to kind of feel bad if the Lucian can get ahead early here off of him. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, bruising back and forth. Somebody help, please. We'll find the jungler, Cole. And now we just go back to our regular scheduled programming. Rift Herald is going to be taken, of course, by the Sejuani. And has not seen quite as much action mid as we did previously, when Death on Horrorwood was not a gank for the first time in this series. And instead, it will be first of these rifts going over to Waldorf. And so we'll see where they drop that, as I obviously think it'll probably be dropped. I mean, I don't know. I always have my opinion of it getting dropped mid or bot to kind of help open up dragons, but I mean, it could be dropped top just to try to push the Mundo further ahead. I feel like that's a pretty good possibility because he got ahead last time. They priority picked it this time, so I don't necessarily see why they wouldn't, try to funnel a little bit extra money into him. Down bot lane, they're going to have to just really stay safe here. And now the aggression comes forward. Black Shield onto the wrong target that time. Boogie Woogie will be the main target. As you said in game 2, or maybe it's game 1, whoever that spell shield goes on to, the other one will be the target if Straight Shifty has not already engaged. So it was game 1 you said that. You said that game 1 when it was the Samira.
I think I said it both games.
You might have said it both games, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be that. So they are going to try to power through a turret here, and that's going to be actually really a deep push from somebody help, please. It's going to be okay, though. Straight Shifty should go low. Oh, no, and of course they get the kill. So El Gringazo finally gets one in retribution on the other side, but that was a lot of damage, of course, from that Lucian. Popping ultimate and putting it right into him. There is going to be a jungler coming in here. El Gringazo is stepping up. Not 100% sure. There we go. Maybe he can get something here. That's a nice little push. He has ultimate. And he could, well, no, he doesn't have ultimate. He already used it. Never mind. And he'll find his way out, but Concordia losing the jungler and still only ever picking up that support. They're not able to find kind of the more important targets in those picks. They just keep finding straight Shifty, and I mean, he's a punching bag. But I guess if you have to choose someone on your team to be the punching bag, it might as well be the support, right? I mean, able to first off tank for forever on the Nautilus, but then on top of that, him dying, you know, doesn't necessarily push anybody further behind on the side of Waldorf.
Yeah, and in these past couple cases, it's allowed that Lucian to also get kill credit on champions too, which is, I think, really what they're looking for. I would expect Sejuani to keep coming bot and try and get this Lucian to the point where it is as tough as a Tristana, you know, basically taking this trade, and if not killing the Jinx, pushing her out of lane where she has to back, or you know, can't really fight.
Yep, Rift Herald is going to be dropped bot because we do have the next Drake up here. So nice pressure onto this bot turret is going to sort of force everybody from CUNE to react to this. They do take it out, though, so we'll see exactly how this goes down. Horrorwood is also here. The Annie. Everybody essentially except for top lane. And we do see Jellybean having to get away from that. Nicely done, actually, from somebody help, please. He doesn't commit the ult yet. He's still looking for maybe a different target to try to commit it onto. Straight Shifty is going to be kind of the target for the first part of this fight. Can Concordia burn him down? They do so. Now can they get the rest of the fight cleaned up? There's another ult, or the ultimate coming through from the Vi. Push back for everybody else. Somebody help, please. Will die. Boogie Woogie goes down next. Can Horrorwood and Green Gazo do something? They won't be able to do quite as much as they want. That's a nice kill there, though. And they do find the jungler. So it's a trade. Support jungle for support jungle. Meanwhile, top lane, we have Carnage and the Bug fighting it out. The Bug is in, or sorry, Carnage might be in a little bit of trouble. That's a really big stopwatch right there. As they both fight it out, can they get it? There's the, man, the passive up again. Meanwhile, Horrorwood dies because Joe Cool throws a stopwatch on the ground and breaks it. I mean, how could you do that?
I think he also managed to get a stun off right before he stopwatched, and
Yes.
so Horrorwood was just stuck there when the Lucian
came back. So Lucian goes 4-0-4 right now, and the rest of Concordia still kind of in wanting here. They do stop that Drake from happening, which is kind of nice. However, the rest of that team fight was just not exactly what they ordered. And they're going to be trying to look for it again here, but I just don't know. As right now, Straight Shifty is going to find the hook that he wants. Somebody help, please. Is going to have to try to find his way out. Nice spell immune, though, is going to hopefully get him out of there safely. That was a fantastic black shield. Helped a lot in that situation. Jellybean is just holding tight there to the side. And honestly, Concordia just needs to give this. It does reset and kind of wastes a lot of time. They will end up giving it over. It's just not worth fighting for it after kind of that initial commit sort of goes salty. And it is going to be an Ocean Soul this game, which would be pretty big both sides. Obviously, the tanks on the side of Waldorf are going to love that. And here comes the stun. It tries to get it, but actually mistimed it, I believe. So the stun doesn't come through on the Tibbers. Does that mean Horrorwood gets away? It does, if I check the minimap, which I don't know why the camera was like, oh yeah, he totally gets away. We're just going to go somewhere else. But the stun from Joe Cool did not come through on the Tibbers. And I don't know whether that was intentional or not. I feel like it was not, because Horrorwood then ends up getting away. Even though he takes the damage from Tibbers, he does not get stunned. Mr. Boogie Woogie is going to get caught out here. The spell shield goes down. However, he still dies because red buff. It's a very early.
That's what killed him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked at his items and then I just looked at the character and I went, oh, he's got red buff. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Like, what's his damage over time? I don't see anything. Oh, red buff. All right. So with red buff, yeah, you just that damage over time is going to kick in and be a big pain in the booty. The Bug Continues to find it out with the Carnage. Carnage this time is just 1-0. Not feeling quite as good as he was last time on like a 4-0 that he was sitting on really well. But obviously he's a tank, so he's feeling pretty good about coming out of that lane just 1-0. They are going to be looking for the second Rift Herald here, which would be kind of a big deal for him. They would like to pick that up and even use it here top lane just immediately. The gank angles that this Sejuani has been using are just ridiculous. I literally hate this Sejuani for that reason right now. Just been able to really come out and do a lot of dumb damage and then just hit from gank angles that are weird. Nicely done here. Opportunity for Concordia to try to get something back. The bug is going to get really low, and they do find the kill onto the Sejuani first. The bug is going to stay alive. Can he live through the rest of this? He finds that nice little move, but he goes down. Carnage gets the kill. However, that's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange. Concordia will take that right now over anything else they possibly can. Concordia trying to find their way back into this. They're going to be down about 5,000, or exactly 5,000 gold here at the 18-minute mark. However, you got Jinx that is working her way up. She's going to be picking up her Zeal item here and feeling much better after she picks that up. It's just the attack speed on Jinx is just fantastic. Kraken Slayer obviously is going to be really nice into this team. Now they just have to keep her alive.
Yeah, definitely. The way that Waldorf has been grouping and just playing in general, they're really easy for Jinx to itemize. Kraken, probably a Runeans, or maybe your favorite Seal item. Lord Dominic's, IE, and then maybe whatever you want for your fifth item, maybe a GA or something. But, I mean, they're really tanky, so you want that Lord Dominic's. It's also helped chew through that armor. But then, yeah, if they're grouping up really heavily, then just get a Runeans, get all that splash damage going down as well. You know, not really hard to itemize or play. You just got to survive long enough to get the gold to where you're able to actually effectively start really popping off in these team fights.
This should be a really nice initial pick if they can just find it, but Straight Shifty, just so much tank to him right now. It's ridiculous. That was a really nice ultimate, though. Back onto Horrorwood, I think, of all people in that, as they do find the kill onto somebody. Help, please. That's a double kill over for that Annie. Here comes the Mundo in, by the way, as the bug is going to be in the middle of this action. He's going to be up against Jellybean, so he does end up going down. Carnage able to take on the 2v1 of both carries for CUNE. And I don't know how that could have gone good for Concordia. It was a nice initial pick, but that's just so much tank, and you're not able to take that out as only the Vi. You gotta have the Azir, you gotta have the Jinx there to push out the damage more. But you know, that's the problem right now. If you're the jungler for Concordia, is it's like you find that pick and it's like, I got it, but you gotta kill it, and it's so hard to kill that Nautilus.
I definitely agree. You want to have that Azir specifically, because the Nautilus went the armor boots again, which is going to be reducing damage from autos. So even the Jinx is going to have a rough time with that. You really need that magic damage in there from the Azir shoulders to just cut through that and really knock it down. Because the Jinx is still early, and she does have true damage. So if she can get a couple of hits off, you know, that true damage will work them down. But until you get that Lord Dominic's stacked up with it, or your IE or whatever kind of item, you're still gonna probably, I would think, have a little bit of a rough time. That also being said, Vi passive reduces armors every 3 hit. So you know, maybe I'm just talking out of my boot.
No, I think, well, and yeah, with the Vi passive, like, that helps to, like, you know, initially they pick a target, they say, hey, we need this guy to die, 3 hits, armor's down for that target, you're good to go with the Jinx or someone else. There's just not enough DPS from her onto Straight Shifty or to Carnage, or even at this point, Cole, who's going to have some pretty decent armor built up right now, too. You gotta have somebody else. So she can, I mean, the Vi into this is great because she gets in there, she starts hitting that armor, boom, armor is broken. Then you have the Jinx and somebody else pouring in the damage from the outside. That's going to be kind of I guess the ending security to all of this. So both teams posturing right now. It looks like Waldorf really wants this mid turret, and so they're kind of trying to posture up around it. It's going to be a little engage here onto the bug, perhaps. That's actually a big engage onto the bug. He's going to have to flash to try to get his way out of it. Not only that, Jellybean does find the kill. Somebody help, please, is going to be up here trying to fight straight Shifty, but not much he can do on that side of things. Carnage is here, moving forward as the rest of the team now is going to start to posture towards that Baron. Opportunity because the top laner is gone from CUNE for them to pick up this objective. And right now, Concordia trying to push in mid lane. Almost opting to give it away, it feels like, but somebody help please was charging that Q. It's really slow for them right now to take this, and that's going to be the Baron taken over by Waldorf here, and it's starting to grow more and more. It's a slow grind for him. When you have a 7-0 Lucian down there, 2-0-5 in the mid lane on that Annie, those are two big targets for Concordia. They want to try and shut down, but right now their options are still a little bit limited. I mean, the later this game goes, the better for Concordia, but I mean, you do also have Carnage, who, you know, late game Mundo is going to be tanky as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Shifty is going to be still pretty strong here throughout the rest of this mid to late game. Gringazo trying to trade with the Lucian there. Somebody help, please. Might be in a little bit of trouble. He does find his way with a nice Q over the wall. The bot lane, the bug, is going to be in a lot of trouble. He is able to ult onto that Sejuani, gets his passive off, so can he find anything more? He's going to come out of it soon. Joe Cool able to find that kill, puts himself up at 3-0, and once again, this jungler was somebody that tried to carry them through the first game. Didn't work, so instead said, you know what, fine, I won't carry. I'll just help everybody else carry. It's been working out really well for Waldorf. 50 seconds on this Drake, as they probably won't find this tier 2 here. They hop themselves onto the Annie. That's a really big stun, though, onto the Vi from the Sejuani ultimate. Jellybean going to be here on the side, as the fast back is going to help the Sejuani reset for this next Drake fight. 30 seconds for that as they set up a death bush. Would hope Concordia is able to sniff this out before anything happens. There's going to be the Lucian ulting over. Doesn't actually get the Azir, though. The Azir is able to get away, but steals away a blue buff, and now the Drake. This is Soul Point, so it is a very important Drake for Concordia to try to contest. The Jinx is coming in from mid lane. This will be the first opportunity for Concordia to try and get themselves back into this game. Horrorwood is off to the side here. He's in a lot of danger, though, because here comes the Jellybean. The ult pushes over, but they flash the wall anyways, or somehow get knocked over the wrong direction. Jellybean is legendary as he finds 2 kills there. Or sorry, just 1 kill on the backside. But now he's going to try and find a little bit more here. Somebody help, please. Gets in the middle of this. Jellybean once again finding a kill. And that should pretty much wrap up this game, honestly. I know that it's a little bit of a, oh boy, doom and gloom, but that is a Ocean Soul onto a very tanky squad. And Concordia has not been playing these fights very well, so I feel like going forward here, it's going to be an uphill mountain of a fight for them to try to get back into this.
Yeah, and it's not that they haven't been playing the fights well. I think honestly they're so behind. It's
well,
what do you do?
I'll say in that last one, Horrorwood was just not in a good spot. You know, Joe Cool was sitting there just ready to hit him with the stun. On top of that, you know, he's trying to throw in poke where it's more like, and he doesn't have a front line in front of him. Like, where's your front line? You got to have somebody there to take that initial anti-blow, right? You got to have something there. Instead, it's just him. And I don't really know what happened with his ult. Like, I thought they flashed it. Like, after they started getting pushed, they flashed over it. And I'm not sure if that's the case. I just don't know how Joe Cool, the Sejuani, I know how Carnage missed it because his spell shield allowed him to not get pushed. But they just kind of hopped over it and said, yeah, no, we see your wall, but we're just going to get around it, so there's no problem here. And right now, you know, it's a 12,000 gold lead. The Jinx is just it's slow to get online, and if it's not even there to do anything in the fight, which it wasn't in that last fight, it's hard to kind of say, hey, you know, what are you looking for here? You know, what's your win position from